me really was to
that I felt like I needed, and I was comfortable in that space of just me and God.
Hope is offensive. Hope is desperate.
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Coach Karen, and you know what time it is. It's time for Jumpstart Your Vision with Coach Karen, and I am Coach Karen Hilton. I am so glad to have you here this morning because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics. Now, it is also true that when I bring this topic up, sometimes I get crickets. Sometimes I get people like, look, there's my dog. I've got to go. But you're in your office. I know there's my dog. I've got to go. This is one of those topics that can be a little bit on the awkward side. So I'm just going to warn you. But I've got my coffee. I hope you do too. One of these days, we are going to do an in-person coffee for all of our Metro Atlanta folks. Y'all know I'm based out of Metro Atlanta, and we're going to talk about it live. I can't wait to do that. But in the meantime, I want you to come on in here and let's get our week started together. How are y'all doing? Did you have a good weekend? What was on your plate for the weekend? I had a very busy weekend. I also may have taken a few naps because that's just the way I roll. Anyway, if you're joining us for the first time, we're glad you're here. This is the place for vision-driven workplace leaders, entrepreneurs, and the mission-minded. If that's you and you are ready to do life and work on your own terms, this is the place. We come together and bring some of the world's best leaders right here to this space to talk about some of the things that can help us build a vision we love. That's our platform. I want to help you build a vision you love. And yes, it is absolutely possible. Now, it is also true that although I like to share some of the things that are working for me and the leaders that I serve in my corporate practice, it is also true that I am walking this out with you. So I wish I could tell you that I had all of the answers. My goal is not to develop answers for you, but rather to give you the tools, the insights, and the perspective that you may need to discover your own answers. It's a powerful place to lead from. And yeah, we're all about it. So come on in here, grab your coffee, pop in the comments. If you are here, let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, I want to say hey to our YouTube fam. For those of you that didn't know, we are on YouTube. Go and follow us on YouTube. It really helps when it comes to YouTube saying, hey, we want to get more of this content out. Can you imagine if just 50 of your friends who are vision-driven leaders, workplace leaders, entrepreneurs, pastors, political leaders, can you imagine if they had the tools that they needed to be able to build a vision they love, to be able to make not just a difference, but an impact? Just saying. So do me a favor, share it with your network, share this stream with your network if you are streaming live, or if you're watching it on replay, in the comments, put hashtag replay to let us know you are here. All right, let's do it. We may shout you out, so come on in here and get in the conversation. I want you to ask questions, guys. We produce this show not so that I can just kind of, talk and talk and talk and talk. We talk back to each other, don't we? For those of you that are my OGs, y'all know this is a conversation. So we've got John Kovaleski in the background. He's our executive technical producer, and he's doing all of the magic. Thanks, John. We love you so much. We've got one of our regulars, Carolyn Clark, in here. Good morning, Carolyn. It's good to see you in here. And the amazing Amanda Bowen, who's part of our marketing team. Hey, Amanda, great to see you in here. I know there are a few more people that are coming because they texted me and said, I'm coming. So grab your coffee, do your thing, and let us know that you are here. Well, this morning, we are talking about some of the things that can block and choke out your vision. Y'all know I talk about this kind of in different ways, but I really want to talk about the kinds of things that can keep you from scaling. Okay. I'm not just talking about, oh, being too busy. That's definitely one of the things, but I want to get a little more specific and talk about the dependencies that can keep you from scaling anything. Okay? The things that your vision for your life, for your work, for your business, for your finances, these dependencies can keep you from scaling. So let's talk for a second about what scaling actually is. Scaling is where you want to go from not just the status quo, but you want to go bigger. You want to make more of an impact. Or come in here for a minute because I don't want you to miss this. I do not want you to miss this. Okay? Scaling can also be about doing things differently. Why do I have a funny face on that? Because some of you assume that scaling means doing things bigger, doing more. Sometimes it means that, but sometimes scaling has to do with right sizing. Okay? Sometimes scaling has to do with decluttering your mind, your heart, your relationships. Woo! We already went there. Okay. I just need you to listen to me for a second. And y'all know I'm not preaching. Okay. I'm teaching. I'm sharing what I have walked out and what I continue to walk out every single day. Okay. Let's go back and just check to make sure who's in the tribe and who's here this morning. Kimberly Frazier, good morning. Y'all, Kimberly is my new executive assistant. She is one of a few new team members, and I am so excited for you guys to meet her. She's absolutely fabulous. She's fabulous. I love her already. It's like we've been rolling for a long time. So good morning, Kimberly. Glad to have you in here. And we have Delia Didi. Good morning, Delia. What is up? Nice to meet you. Welcome. Delia, is this your first time? And am I saying that right? Am I saying your name right? Y'all know I have this thing about saying names wrong. But anyway, is this your first time here? If it is, welcome and good morning. We're glad to have you in here. She says, good morning, another divine subject just for me. I'm so glad. We're going in just a second. And then we have Tiandra in here. Hey there, hey there, hey there. So glad to have you here. Delia! Yes, Delia! I got an email coming your way, by the way. Anyway, so glad to have you in here. Okay, so we're going to talk about scaling for just a moment. And Delia, I know. All right. So sometimes scaling has to do with doing more and going bigger, right? Sometimes scaling has to do with right sizing. Okay, here we go. First question out of the gate. Y'all know I like for you to come in here and to talk to me about these things. To you, when you hear the term scaling, like it's time for me to scale my business, or it's time for us to scale this project. What does that mean? When you hear that term, what does scaling mean to you? And if you don't know, then just put that, like, I'm not really sure. Okay, that helps give me context about what we want to talk about today. But what does scaling mean to you? Like, what is that? What comes up for you when you hear me say that? Kimberly says, oh, this is so good. Kimberly says, scaling a wall. That's good, girl. That preaches. But anyway, Carolyn says, scaling has always meant to be able to go bigger. That's right. That's right. Coming out of our generation, anytime we talked about scaling, you hear the term a lot in business, right? We're going to scale our business. Okay. Tiandra says, moving up the ladder, making moves. That's exactly right. Y'all are on fire this morning. That is so good. Yeah. Making a bigger move. So for those of you that are workplace leaders, maybe you're scaling your career, right? It's time to do more. Delia says, expanding process and procedures to eventually scaling to the masses. That's exactly right. That's kind of the business definition of scaling. And we've always heard that scaling is about doing more, right? John says, scaling to me means either growing or either downsizing. John's got a little inside track there. But anyway, y'all are exactly right. Scaling has always been associated with doing more. We're going to talk about that because that is really important for those of you who are trying to do more. Maybe you are trying to scale your business, and you've hit a little bit of a ceiling, right? You feel a little bit stuck. Scaling is important for those of you who maybe are at a place in your career where you know you can do more and you need to do more and you want to do more. That's amazing. Maybe you are scaling your capacity because you're about to be a parent, or maybe you are going to be a grandparent or an auntie who has responsibilities for littles. You know, maybe you're getting a new grandbaby or a new nephew or whatever, right? Yeah, scaling is important, and understanding scaling is important because we want to be able to do more. We want to be able to do more well. But there are some things, friends. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. It doesn't matter how funded you are. It doesn't matter how connected you are. Come on. There's some things that will keep you from scaling. And they are so critical and so important to your ability to scale that they are actually dependencies. If you do not do these things, if you are not aware of these things, friend, it doesn't matter what you have or what you do, scaling will be hard, painful, if not impossible. I just wanted to share that with somebody, okay? I just wanted to share that. But we're going to talk about the specifics, and I need you to kind of stabilize yourself, get your pen, and let's start writing, because I want everybody here, if you're joining live or on replay, to find one thing we talk about today to actually implement, to actually focus on, okay? We're going to start with this. One of the things that is completely, your vision for any part of your life is completely dependent on is your ability to ruthlessly shred. Write it down, to ruthlessly shred. What do I mean by that? Every single one of us on this call, joining live and watching on the replay in YouTube land and everywhere else you may see this, has too much clutter, too much distraction, too many noises, too many invitations, too many commitments. Come on, I don't know. Maybe you are sitting there. Maybe Warren Buffett is on the phone right now. Okay. And he is sitting there just ruminating and thinking about his next big idea. But all the rest of y'all, okay, do not try it with me. Every one of you needs to implement this one thing, ruthlessly shredding what you have on your calendar, who you're committed to, what you're committed to, what you've signed up for. Y'all know, I think it was last show, I talked about a very vulnerable experience that I had where I experienced an anxiety attack. Now, I realized I was struggling with anxiety back when I was caring for my mom. But as I unpacked what got me to that point, you know, when I sat down with it, and the Holy Spirit was like, Karen, I want to help you with this. And I'm like, you will not believe, like, so-and-so asked me to do this. And then I had this thing over here. And then Steve told me about that. And you know what he said? And he said, you know what? You're the one who signed up for all of that. And I'm like, well, that's just rude. That's rude. But you know what? He was right. Every single one of us need to start with ruthlessly shredding. If you don't know how to ruthlessly shred, stick around for a while and you're going to learn a few tips and tricks to be able to know how to do that, even if you're somebody who doesn't like conflict. Number one, ruthlessly shredding. What's on your plate right now that you've signed up for? What are you committed to that is not directly in line with what it is you're supposed to be doing, what it is that God's called you to do. It's not a judgment. Y'all hear me? It's not a judgment. These are the questions I had to ask for myself. Okay? Ruthlessly shredding is number one. Until I got to the place where I literally laid out everything in every category of my life. We have a process for that. We're actually learning that right now in Vision Casters Academy. If you haven't heard about it, Coach John is going to put the link on across the bottom. We are walking through that right now because we're in focus season. For those of you that didn't know, we have 4 pillars in this community: vision, focus, purpose, and perspective. We're in focus season right now. When you lay out what it is you have going on in your life, your mind is going to be blown at how many things you're actually committed to that are just a little bit south of what actually will move the needle for you. Ruthlessly shredding, taking a look at what you've got going on in your life, in your work, in your ministry, in your campaign, whatever it is you're working on, is going to be a game changer for you. If you need help and support, I'm just saying, we've got it for you. All right, here comes number 2. I don't know any other way to say it, so I'm just going to say it. Letting go of relational dependencies that distract, drain, or inadvertently redefine God's vision for you. I need to clear my throat for that one. When my business began to scale, meaning my business began to grow, there was this weird dynamic that happened where I could no longer spend as much time doing the things I used to do. I could not invest in relationships as broadly as I used to be able to do. It's going to hit on somebody in a minute. I had to change everything. And it happened almost without me knowing it. Why? Because I was so focused in my business. But I got to a place, friends, where I couldn't scale anymore. I couldn't focus on growing my business in the way that I needed to grow it. But here's what happened. When I realized I hit a threshold in my business, I began to realize I was also reaching a threshold in relationships. I'm sure I'm the only one. Maybe it's just me. But I'm really curious for those of you that are trying to rock your vision. You are trying to build a business. You are trying to scale your business. How many of you have recognized that something happens where you start pulling away, and not because you think you're better than everybody, because that's a lot of what you'll hear. Oh, you think you're better than everybody now, right? Okay, you can't come to this? Fine. Listen to me. I tried it for a minute. I did. I tried to do everything. I tried to be everywhere. I tried to build and grow what God had given me in my businesses. And I tried to still go to all the things. I tried to sign up for the board, to accept board assignments, et cetera, et cetera. I tried to do all of those things because everybody else was doing them. Oh, so what boards are you on? I know you're on something fabulous. Somebody walked up to me and said that. What boards are you on? I know you're on something fabulous. And I was like, I'm not on any boards. I'm not on any boards. And she literally just kind of looked at me and was like, oh, listen, friends, if you are going to scale your vision in any category, maybe you are trying to do more in your family. Come on, please hear me. Y'all hear me. I'm really not, I'm saying this from a place of love. if you are going to scale anything, it is going to require you to let go of some of the relational dependencies that keep you stuck. You are not going to be able to be everybody's friend. You are going to have to let go of being at all of the things. And this has nothing to do for those of you that are like, oh, that's, you're encouraging everybody to be soft. No, I'm not. I'm encouraging everybody to be focused. Are you hearing me? I'm going to say something, and I know I'm going to make somebody mad. So just consider this your public service announcement. Do not write me any hate mail about this because I'm not going to read it. Okay? Even Jesus was focused. Even Jesus had to check his relational dependencies. Even Jesus had a specific calling at different times in his life. And by the time the disciples came on the scene, he didn't go out and talk to and touch everybody. He was strategic and thoughtful and prayerful, always in communion with the Holy Spirit about who to engage with. And then he sent people out. He sent the disciples out to go and do the work. I'm going to take some tea now. Y'all don't be mad at me. Where are you overextended in your relationships? Where are you continuing to tolerate relationships that drain you? Where you're like, oh my, like, listen, I know it can be challenging. I get it because I'm a heart-centered leader. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But as I sat with the Holy Spirit myself and asked, what's more important? Is it more important to continue to nurture relationships, relational dependencies, commitments that drain you or exhaust you, or are no longer aligned with what it is I've called you to do? Right? I use Mark Zuckerberg all the time, and I really don't mean it. I don't mean to pick on him, but he's just who comes to mind. Can you imagine if Mark Zuckerberg continued like talking to all of the same people and doing all of the same things that he did when he was, sitting in a college dorm room? He's no longer in a place to do that. And you know what? As his vision for his innovation, for his invention grew, he no longer had the time. But every one of us has done this, where we overextend ourselves. We get up at the crack of dawn and we don't go to bed until goodness knows when, because we're trying to meet everybody's needs. Listen to me. I get it. There are seasons, y'all know I talk about seasons all the time, where we have to do that. We have to invest. We have to stay up late. We have to hustle. This is not anti-hustle kind of language. What I'm saying to you is, sometimes as you grow, your relationships have to change. My relationships had to change. And I remember one in particular that did not go well, where I was so busy trying to grow my business. I was trying to be a responsible, loving, very present mom. I was trying to be a loving, responsible, very present wife. I had family obligations and that sort of thing. I could not be on the phone all the time. And y'all, I am not really a phone person. I'm going to be honest with you anyway. But I was really not a phone person. Or somebody would see me out and they'd be like, oh, girl, I see all the things that you're doing. We need to catch up. And I'm like, I'm sorry. No, we don't. That's what I'm thinking in my head. But I would say yes anyway. Friend, I need all of you to stick around, because I think it's next month we're doing an entire module in Vision Casters Academy on scripts and boundaries. I'll just leave that there. Relational dependency. So here's my question to you. What relationships do you have in your life? Listen, this is just you, me, and Jesus, okay? So get a piece of paper and write down what relationships or commitments are draining for you right now. You don't have to solve it. I'm not asking you to pack your bags and leave. I need you to come in here for a moment. What relationships cause you to feel drained or distracted? Here's a good indicator. You walk into the room with that person, or you get on a call with them, and you feel a certain kind of way, right? You feel anxious, or you feel fear, and you're really not sure why. Okay. Or you walk in the room and you avoid them. Friend, listen to me very carefully. Some of the relationships and commitments that I've had to step away from are absolutely anointed, beautiful, amazing people or organizations. Okay? Has nothing to do with whether or not they're a good person or they're a good organization. I hope y'all are getting this. Has nothing to do with that. What I want us to do in this community is to get focused. The only way you are going to be able to build a vision you love is if you get focused. And the only way to do that is to get to have ruthless shredding, meaning you are willing to pull away and pull out and pull off those things that are not directly aligned to what God called you to do. Where are you spending time where you are south of what it is you need to be doing? And y'all know it. You feel it. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong on this. I'm wrong on a lot, but not on this. Second, you need to check your relational dependencies. And let me just tell you something else for those of you that were doing what I was doing, where you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm this, that, and the other. Friend, you need to get focused. Overwhelm is a habit. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Overwhelm is a habit. We just had to talk about that. That's for another show. Here's number 3. You have to change your appetite for fans, followers, and popular opinion. Some of you who are entrepreneurs, maybe your workplace leader, you have an appetite for fans, followers, and popular opinion. You will never scale your vision if what you are tracking for and what you are working towards are fan, followers, and popular opinion. Some of you who are, this applies to everybody, but some of you are so busy trying to run after what social media and popular opinion and pop culture will tell you. Oh, you've got to have more clients. You only have 5 clients, really? You got to get over that, honey, because the very first thing we have to do as vision-driven leaders is execute on what we have in front of us. I don't care if you have a business. I don't care if you have a family. I don't care if you have a ministry. Whatever you have, how are you executing on what you have in front of you? Hand on hip. How are you executing on what you have? Are you keeping your promises? Do you really understand what your clients or your family or your constituents need today? Have you nailed that down? But you're busy following after all of these things. Some of you who are business owners, you are purchasing more and 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 more. More apps, more platforms, more services, more this, more that, which is the opposite of focus. Where do you need to get inside? Come on, y'all, and take a look at your perspective, your appetite for fans, followers, and popular opinion. Just going to leave that there. I hope y'all are writing this down. Here's the next one. If you're going to scale your vision, and if you are going to master focus, you have to stop waiting for permission. I wish I had somebody in here to just, hold my hand because I can feel the fire right now. Stop waiting for permission. You've got this thing inside of you. And I get it. I have commitments and responsibilities as well. But if you're sitting around waiting for somebody to encourage you, if you're waiting on somebody to say, go do that. Yes, you can. Now, don't anybody tell your spouse not to call me. If they're listening, and I know some of y'all spouses and significant others are listening right now, tell them not to call me. I am not talking about bulldozing your way through what you want. And I'm going to tell you a story that's a little bit painful and a little bit real. But for some of this is going to set you free. Y'all know I'm married to the love of my life, 18 years in. And we are two polar opposites in some ways. And we are identical in a few ways. We are both bullheaded, both highly opinionated, both very driven. So you got a lot of this going on, right? Well, when I was growing my business, he's a money guy, he's into the details. And I'm like, just buy everything. One for everybody. That's totally me. Right? But Oprah's got somebody who can fund that. Anyway, my point was he would come in and say, Karen, where are your profit margins? Why are you spending this much? And all of this sort of thing. And y'all, I had some kind of attitude. Okay. And so my response was, oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second, honey. This is not your vision. This is my vision. Right? So I took this asking for permission thing too far. What I'm saying is, when I say stop waiting for permission, I'm not saying don't do things in good order. I'm not saying be irresponsible. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is stop waiting for somebody to affirm what God has put in your heart. I'm saying stop waiting for someone else to lay out your business plan, your strategic plan. Stop waiting for somebody to come find you, to mentor you. Are y'all hearing me? Is this too much? I'm sorry. Okay. Stop waiting for somebody to come alongside you. I don't know about y'all, but here's what I know about vision-driven leaders. Every one of you has felt weird. You felt odd. You felt like nobody understands you. Am I right? It's just us, so it's fine. Right? Stop waiting for that. Here's what I need you to do. Get focused. Get focused. We can do the come alongside and all like that. Rock Your Vision exists for that reason. How many of you guys have felt that in our community? We created that for this. When we do our workshops, by the way, quarterly workshops are coming in person. But anyway, when we do our workshops, guess what? We create that. When we do Vision Casters Academy every month, we do that for each other. How many of you are in Vision Casters Academy and you have felt that? We just finished our April workshop and our April office hours. Fire, y'all. Fire. We create that. But here's what I'm saying to you. When you go out into the field, when you get off this call, I need you to take a deep breath. I need you to pull God into the equation or do your meditations, whatever it is that you do. And I need you to get focused. Because friend, the folks who are out there rocking their vision, the folks that you see on the front of those magazine covers and you're like, oh, well, I guess it's for everybody else. No, it's not. It's for you. You got to get focused. It's okay to cry. It's okay to do all of those things. But friend, let me just tell you, sitting around asking for permission is a surefire way to get stuck and to stay stuck and to have regrets. This is the no regret zone around here. Okay. No regrets. Yes, you got to get pushed out of the nest. And some of you are advanced in your vision. You already have a business, right? You're already building a business. You done left your job. You did all of those things, right? You stepped out and got married. You started writing that book, right? You invested in that business. You hired that team. Whatever it is for you, you already did it. And now you're sitting there waiting around for somebody. That's why Rock Your Vision exists. So consider that I have a place to get affirmed. I have a place to get encouraged. Now I need you to get off that dime. Stop sitting around waiting for Bebe to affirm you. Stop sitting around waiting for your boss to understand that you're trying to be an entrepreneur. Your boss don't care. Okay. Everybody okay? Y'all okay? Drop in the comments and just let me know you're all right. I told you 2023, I was not playing. Y'all thought I was playing, but I'm not playing. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Here's the next one. And this is, okay. Here's the next one. Stop tolerating chaos, lack of commitment, lack of clarity, and underperforming. In others or in yourself. I'm hugging you. I'm hugging you. I am. Stop tolerating chaos, lack of commitment, lack of clarity, and underperforming. Y'all okay? Y'all okay? Nobody answered. So I just need to know y'all are okay. Please drop in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, I'm hugging you in my heart, okay, and in my mind. Stop tolerating it. This is the conversation I had with myself. But I have a good mission, and I want to make an impact, and you just don't understand. Oh, I understand. When you recognize that in order for you to get focused, you first have to step all the way back. Come on. All of you step all the way back with me. Step all the way back. And I need you to get an eagle's eye view of what's going on in your life, in your work, in your family. And I need you to recognize that chaos is not your friend. Chaos is not your friend. Okay? You can tolerate it if you want to, but consider yourself called out, because for all of you that are running here and there and doing everything everywhere all the time, right? Your business finances are chaotic. Your operational structure is chaotic. You've got multiple things going on, but you haven't taken the time. Beloved, hear me very carefully. Same conversation I had with myself. Same conversation my coach had with me. Same conversation Holy Spirit had with me. That is not a them thing. That's a you thing. And here's the news. Here's the good news. Come in here. Stay with me. Okay. You can build a vision you love, but you first have to do these things. You can get all the business coaching you want. You can have all the forms and processes, CCs that you want. But if you do not do these things that are internal to you, that are about what it means to be a vision-driven leader. Anybody can build a business. Anybody can make money. But can you grow it and can you keep it? That's a whole nother show. That one's coming. Can you grow it and can you keep it? The only way that you will be able to grow, to scale your business, to scale your vision for your family is if you step all the way back, and in the middle of all that chaos and everybody's going everywhere and doing all of this and doing all that, if you have a small team, I don't care if you've got, a team of contractors, or maybe you're your team. That was me. When you first start, that's the way it goes, right? There's some of us who start with a big team, but very few of us start with a big team. Lots of us who are entrepreneurs bootstrap that thing. Lots of us who are workplace leaders, we start and we just get thrown in the weeds, right? We don't go to school for these things. And even if you do go to school, you get in the middle of it and you realize, whoa, they didn't teach me that, right? You got to step all the way back. And when you step all the way back, I need you to take a look in every category of your life. We just finished this module in Vision Casters Academy. We just did this, our April workshop and then office hours. And I gave you some tools and a process, a step-by-step guide to be able to do that. It's called vision mapping. Game changer, you guys, game changer. So, are y'all okay? I know this was good. But I want you to take one thing that you heard today, and I want you to apply it. I want you to focus on that this week. Block out some time. Y'all know I'm always talking to you about prioritize your vision, nurture your vision, curate your vision. I do this every single week without fail. And because I do that, I have gotten better at focus. But let me just tell you, my team will tell you, I can be all over the place. Kimberly she will spill the tea on me. I can be all over the place, which is why she's here to hold me accountable. The rest of John will tell you, I can be all over the place. Amanda and Heather can tell you, I can be all over the place. Focus is a discipline that you have to implement, and you have to be willing to ruthlessly shred. You have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to pull those things away that are weighing you down, right? When you have too much stuff, you will by default have chaos, right? It doesn't matter if it's your undies drawer or if it's your business plan or if it's your team or whatever, okay? Ruthlessly shred. What are you going to ruthlessly shred? Maybe that's your one thing. I don't know. You have to be willing to let go of relational dependencies. For all my entrepreneurs out there, listen to me very carefully. I am that person who believes that the client is right, but it does not mean that the client is always right for you. And if I were your coach, we'd be having that conversation, because some of y'all got clients that are choking you out. But let me talk to you for a minute, because we're going to go on the back end of that, right? Because y'all know I am a huge fan of radical accountability. I've had to have that for myself. When I had clients where I wasn't serving them well, I had to be like radically honest about that and to say, here's why I'm not serving them well. I'm signed up for something that I really don't do. They're really nice, but I don't do these things over here. Right? But every business, especially coming out of the pandemic, was like, yep, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do anything. Friend, I need you to get focused. Okay. Not every client is the right client for you for various number of reasons. If you need help with that, let me know. But anyway, relational dependencies that distract. Sometimes we need to have those conversations, right? Sometimes we need to step away and have that painful conversation that says, I love you so much. Unfortunately, I'm in a season in my life right now where I'm just overwhelmed. Okay. Last thing on this relational dependency thing. But again, this one is painful. If somebody walks away from you because you're in a season, your season has changed, but theirs hasn't. You know what I'm about to say, right? You got to have that conversation either with them or yourself. I don't know your business. I don't need to know your business. I'm just saying, if somebody will not go with you into the season that you're in, if somebody cannot appreciate and respect that your season may have changed, that maybe you're growing, doesn't mean that you think any less of them. But friend, you've got to be able to have people around you who recognize and appreciate and understand what it means to have your season changed. Many years ago, it's probably 30 years ago now, I had no kids. I didn't have anything like that going on, but I was friends with a young woman in our church who was expecting her first child. She was a ministry leader. She was all these things. And like, we were like this, y'all, like we did everything together. And then like I would call, her husband would pick up and he'd say, well, she's busy right now or whatever. And I started to take that thing personal. Like, I was like, oh, okay, you're busy now, whatever, but I didn't have anything going on in my own life. Right? What I realize now looking back, she was focused. I wasn't. She was focused. I couldn't appreciate the season that she was in because my season was all over the place. I wasn't doing it. I wasn't rocking my vision back then. Y'all, if somebody can't go with you, that's okay. And it may hurt, it may be painful, and there is a way to transition. It's one of the things that we talk about in Vision Casters Academy. But there is a way to do that. You have to be able to recognize that not everybody's going to go with you. That was the second thing. What was the third thing? You've got to get comfortable with having fewer fans, followers, and letting go of needing popular opinion. That's next. Next, tolerating chaos, lack of commitment, and clarity. If you are not clear about how you're spending your time, how your team is spending your time, holler at a girl, because that is something I have gotten so laser focused around. You will not be able to do the things that you need to do in your ministry, in your workplace, in your business, if you are all over the place and you are tolerating chaos in others or in yourself, you're tolerating a lack of commitment, which means people are not following through. They're not delivering what it is you paying them for. Now, if they volunteer, that's an easy conversation or an easier conversation. But if you're paying people, you need to be aware of what everybody's doing. You need to be aware of what everybody's doing. One of these days, I'm going to have my new chief operations officer on. Her name is Kathleen Cueto. We've worked together for a while. She's absolutely amazing. And we're going through an exercise right now where we are literally getting laser focused about what everybody's doing. And there has to be strategy and outcome attached to everything we're doing. Why? Because I run a for-profit business. That's why. Anyway, you guys, we covered like a lot today. Was this good for you? It was good for me. I hope that you found something, you heard something that resonated with you. Listen, you can build a vision you love. I did it. I've taught thousands of leaders to do it. We work in this community on doing it all the time. Building a vision you love is a journey. It's not some great destination. So if you're experiencing, like maybe you're feeling a little stuck or you're feeling like you're just not getting your momentum, I want to encourage you today. You have more options than you realize. I hope that you found something that you can do now, today, this week, to move forward and make progress on your own terms. I will see you next week.